that would give a focus from the title itself. That's your choice. That's just an observation. Because to begin with, when you were talking about objectives and you put in 9 countries, it was something like, wow, 9 countries. Because my experience with the researchers shows me that if you are going into in-depth study, then 2 countries or at max 3 countries are good enough to generate that kind of substance that you can contribute in a focused manner, that this is what we can learn. I do not know how you have proceeded with the reference to your specific chapters. So if you say AI and copyright, AI and trademark, AI and patent, so is it that you are uh, getting into the legislations of those many countries with Indian countries? So if you have done that, it must be a very bulky, and you need to understand and realize that not more than 300 pages, Baba, because then it becomes a your task is not then given that much of weightage, because the examiner would not read that much. We need to understand that the material that we have generated you can use as well for your publications, articles. So you can have those 9 countries, but I would so very wish that you identify which 2 or 3 countries consistently across, maybe in 3 domains, or you do not mention these 3 domains consistently. But what is exceptional in one country or the 2 countries which India needs to learn? So when we say best practices that we need to learn, and that is your last objective, I believe, if I'm not if I've not failed to recollect, then what is the best practice that we are learning and how do we incorporate that? That would be your contribution here.
Yes, ma'am. So that I have discussed in this chapter, India chapter, whereby I have just pointed out the best practices and I've said whereby India has been lacking.
Hmm. So the moment you say best practices, can you just say that alongside this, if this is the modification in the legislation? And one more point with reference to your first chapter, you have not talked about uh, operationalization of your hypothesis, neither have you put up a slide for research methodology.
Ma'am, research methodology, I think,
Maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, sorry.
operationalization I missed.
Okay, so please make that correction.
Yes.
That is it from my side. The floor is open. Anyone else can join in and make an observation. Because for me, 9 countries is too exhaustive.
Yes, I have just a query. Have you gone through the EU draft legislation which talks
Yes.
about AI? If you
Yes.
have gone through that,
So
my
it has talked about data mining and all these things. It has a
I'm just asking that first you have mentioned so many theories regarding IPR. So do you find that those theories are redundant now or they need contextualization?
they
I mean,
need
what is your take on that? Whether we
contextualization.
should, okay. Second one is that I hope that you have gone through the US trend, Indian trend. So whatever they are progressing with the computer related inventions, to what extent it gives you a signal that they are permissive or they are prohibitive. So if you
So
take the
I missed that they
case
are permissive or
prohibitive, I mean they are not allowing it. As you have said that, I mean except few countries, many countries are not very much permissive for that. So what trend you have found in USA and India with regard to computer related inventions which may promote AI?
so they are not very sure of and they have been declining this AI generated stuff in corporate.
Kisley, I think, one second, can I just interrupt? First of all, you explain to the dean as to why you've taken up those 9 countries.
Yes.
Secondly, as far as Dr. Kshitij is asking you, you can explain whether you've dealt with it or not. You need not mention about your conclusions here.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh, Ma'am, I have taken 9 countries because if I if I don't pick up countries, then it would be if because US, EU are prominent countries. So I've taken them. Apart from them, Australia, China, and Japan, they have been really working hard. They are coming with regulations which talk about data mining. They are coming up with suggestions. They are coming with draft papers, and that's the reason I took Australia, China, and Japan. Ukraine I took specifically only for copyright because that was the only country which is giving protection for AI as far as copyright is concerned. South Africa I took specifically only for patents because in patent only South Africa has given granted patent. So if I miss on these countries, these are not prominent jurisdictions, neither South Africa nor Ukraine. But if I have not taken all these two countries for specific copyright or patent, then it would be not able to justify. Because since my topic is a very wide area, it talks about copyright, it talks about patent, it about trademark. So the issues vary, and therefore not all the countries are on the same plane. I have not gone under the pura statutory statutes of a particular legislation, but then all these countries have a minimum standards and the trips that they have to protect all these things. Similarly, every country today have human authorship as a central focal point. So how these countries have tried to go ahead with this human authorship, and they have how they have tried to incorporate that non-human inventor, non-human contribution that I have discussed, and that's the reason I have taken up so many countries. uh, US, EU being prominent ones, Australia being US and EU being prominent ones, Australia, China, Japan for these, and Singapore also has done a lot of things in copyright, and for data mining they have also come up with some regulations, and Ukraine and South Africa.
Kisley, I believe you have already explained that while you were coming up with your presentation. So there's no question and no doubt that these countries are specialized in their own regimes, that in the sense that they are making advancements and improvements along with the technological developments. But my idea of asking you that if you can restrict them was only to ensure that it becomes focused. You yourself admitted that this is a very wide topic. So, in very wide topic, if you bring that focus, that would be beneficial for your readers, and you would be able to bring about that contribution to the fore.
Yes,
Because if you retain the title like this, nobody would be able to understand that when you are talking about IPR and dilemma, which country, which comparative perspective you are talking about. I believe you need to think over that on that, in the sense that if you can, within your objectives, or when you say scope precisely, you can say that you have picked up the countries which have made advancements in the area of this, including this. But I would still wish that you bring to the fore two or three major countries which have made real good
good,
advancements.
real good. I'll I'll look through it,
Just
and
think
I
it over. Just think it
okay.
over.
No,
Because
but
otherwise, this becomes
then,
too
ma'am,
broad.
I think, but then the countries would differ because in copyright, some other
Okay,
countries are.
okay, all right, all right. Since I'm the supervisor, I have to tell you why she's done that. You know, if we talk about juvenile delinquency, it is one small thing which every country you can just pick up three. Since IPR deals with different subjects, copyright, trademarks, patents, GI, and so on and so forth. So therefore, every country has not, say, for example, US might have dealt with copyright, might not have dealt with patents. Ukraine might have dealt with trademarks, not with patents. So therefore, some countries have picked up, some, the others have not done the others. That is why it cannot be given in the title, according to me. And I think this is something, Kisley, you and I can sit and take this good suggestion and work on it. But just to tell you, that is why different countries have been taken, because all countries have not consistently amended their laws. Because IPR includes a number of areas.
That's
Where the point is well taken, we will sit down and we'll deal with it. So we can talk about the next point then. We can talk about the countries, we'll sit and discuss about it. Well taken. Because I think it's supervisor's responsibility also to look into these things.
for sure, Alka. But my only concern at this point of time is that if the title becomes more prominent,
No,
that would,
you can add India, a comparative analysis or something like this.
yes, that's the only
So
concern.
that also will
That's the
take.
only concern. And if we are doing this exercise, if we can somewhere find
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
that's the only
Kisley, please
idea.
note it down. We'll sit and
Yes,
work on it.
yes, ma'am. I've noted down whatever D ma'am has suggested.
Anyone else who would like to just make any observation or ask for some clarification, please feel free. All right then. All right.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you, Gisle
Thank
and
you.
Thank,
Kshitish
Thank you, ma'am.
thank
and
you.
Alpha
Thank you,
being there.
team.
Kisley.
Bye. Take care.